Yo, what's up, guys?
What's
Thanks
up,
so much for
guys?
coming to this amazing
Thank you.
piece of coverage. I'm David,
I'm Julie.
and we have a crazy show in for you today. We're going to be looking at some graduation footage and interviews from the lives, the real people.
He's about to be huge. Okay?
And there's a lot to cover as we listen to that train in the back.
So like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. Make sure to follow us. We're really struggling online. And I'm sick. So enjoy this footage, Chris. We love you, and hope you watch this. I keep walking out of frame.
And hope you watch it.
Watch this. We hope you watch this a lot of times over the years. Like at first for some encouragement, and then maybe later on for some nostalgia.
Yes. I agree. Thank you so much for
Thank you so
tuning
much.
in.
Grandma Nickel, thank you so much for having a seat here and doing one of these interviews. We were wondering if you could just answer some questions about Christopher.
About Christopher?
Yes.
Well, I got to know him.
Oh no, I'll ask you the questions.
Oh, I see.
That wasn't a question.
Oh, I see. I thought that was a question.
Can you share any story of an experience that you've had with Chris over the years?
One time in New Jersey, when we were visiting, I really wanted to play with Chris's Legos or toys or something, and he really didn't want to play with me. He was like, "Oh no!" And then Auntie Vicky came along, and she's like, "You have to play with Elias." And then he came up and played with me very dejectedly, but he did it. So he's a good guy. He was probably like 13 or younger, probably that age where you're like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's not the most positive story, but you know.
But he's a good guy.
He's a
What's
good guy.
the
He came and
what's the
played
age
with me.
difference?
I was probably
between you?
7.
Okay.
Something.
Okay.
Was he like
cool.
4 years older than me?
Yeah. Well, he's
Like that?
he's twice as old as you. So right now, he's 60 something, right?
70.
What's any story that you can share of an experience that you've had with Chris? Oh my God. Hi, Alex. Thank you for agreeing to be interviewed. I have two questions. What'd you say? What did you say?
I just knew then, back here, I mean, not back, but he was living here as a new sort of settler and wondering what he was going to do, and said he found it hard to connect with people here. So it's nice to see him get over that.
Yeah.
And he has connected.
Yeah.
He's connected well. And it was really nice to have that talk with him.
Yeah.
I remember one time when Chris was, he must have been a year old at least, and we were all in the Dominican Republic for some reason, and Chris was convinced that he could communicate. So we were sitting at the dining room table in Mama and Papa's home, and Chris was in a high chair, and he turned to me and he said, something along those lines. And he looked at me quite intently, and so then I said, "Oh, sure." And he looked like, so clearly my response was incorrect. But he wasn't actually speaking yet. So anyway, I am thrilled that Chris, who apparently in his mind could communicate long before any of us realized it, is now actually becoming a professional communicator. And yeah, so there's my little story.
What was that?
It's a real privilege to be here.
You had 1 minute! 1 minute in!
Oh, Chrissy and I go way back.
You were both Chrissy, I'm guessing.
Yeah, you know, we were, and there was a bit of confusion, but, you know, I had the locks, And, well, we won't talk about his bowl cut.
All those times that, he's helped me through.
Just try to look at me.
Look at me. All those times he's talked me through different things, or just been there to be a helping hand, or just helping out with anything, and just being a real stand-up guy. That's just what I'll remember him for. And
now that he's dead,
now that he's gone.
Can you think of a specific time he helped you with something? No.
No. Any time that we've moved, I feel like he's always been the brute helping hand. That's always like, we got shit that's got to get done, and just being a good guy for that. And then also like emotional stuff, helping me with like Pluto and everything as well, obviously, and all of that.
Nice.
And a lot of things like that.
And everything like that.
I mean, the most obvious one is probably how Chris saved my life, or saved me from becoming a quadriplegic, which
Okay.
sure, everybody knows the story already.
I
but-
don't know this story.
Wait, are you serious?
I'm serious.
Oh, okay. Well, it was Uncle Murray's fault for building a 3-story treehouse in their home in 100 Mile House. And yeah, the top story was just this kind of like room that had a trap door.
Could we say tonight's top story?
It had a trap door in the floor that you would like crawl up through, and then it had like a tire swing that you could just kind of like swing in a circle on it or whatever. So there were like probably a bunch of us kids up there, and then I went to go back down through the trap door, and whoever was on the tire swing bumped me, and I fell headfirst down the trap door.
Whoa.
And Chris caught me by the ankle and pulled me back up. So Chris saved my life, probably, maybe, or saved me from becoming a quadriplegic.
Well, I became an uncle at 16, so that was kind of cool. And one of the early memories I have of Chris, he would have been about 3 or 4, and I was just accompanying Chris and his mom to the supermarket. And there were a few items that he was interested in, and he would point at them, look at his mom, and start, "Is that too expensive?" I thought, my goodness, my sister was able to discipline a child to the point where he could figure out if something would cost too much money, and therefore it was not allowed. I thought that was quite amazing.
We've just been
I have to
crunching
just say
noises
though
and
that I love this. This is so cool.
isn't it fun?
Yeah.
Press.
You have one too. This is so cool.
Press.
Fantastic.
When he was about 2.5 years old and we were visiting, he got up ahead of the rest of us, and he had the fridge wide open, and he was pulling all of the food out so that he could make some pancakes. And I thought that was pretty special for a 2.5-year-old kid.
Mm-hmm.
It was a mess.
Yeah, yeah. What was it about that like makes that story stick out to you?
Well, I'm not used to 2.5-year-olds making my breakfast.
That's really cute.
When we came to visit Union, I think maybe Alex had just been born really recently, so it was like a crazy time. And Chris was so, like, he was so involved in helping take care of basically you kids. You were all little kids at the time.
Yeah.
And I never have noticed in Chris any kind of, you would think that a teenage boy, I'm pretty sure he was a teenager at that time, would have been, kind of annoyed or something about being stuck, like having to take on responsibilities in the home or something like that. And he just always has loved people around him. And I really admire that, and I think that just shines through all his life. I've seen that.
Chris, I guess, looked at Chris. Chris looked at Krista, and made some sort of comment about this is actually just a human being, but it's just a really small human being.
Do you see those in the back? The balloons going by?
Yes. Me a lot of
Yes.
to film in the background.
Just for Chris.
Yes.
One time there was a guy
Those
just,
are for you.
circling
For you,
around
Chris.
that table.
Can you share any story of an experience that you've had with Chris?
I could. But
Would
then
you
I'd
please?
have to kill you.
Chris was the cool older cousin. I was always like, Chris is so cool, and his haircut was so cool. So I just thought, I've always thought Chris was a cool cousin. My cool older cousin, and I always felt, and yeah, even later on in life, every time visiting with Chris, he always is just like makes you feel so loved and welcome. So I always like to see Chris.
He's a little bit of a perfectionist. You know, it's hard for him to just do kind of a rough job. You know, and you just kind of tell him it doesn't have to be that great, but he likes doing it good. And he likes to philosophize about life, which is always good because I like doing that too. I learned that he has a lot of potential to do a lot of things, but somehow he doesn't think he has a lot of potential to do a lot of things. Which I was trying to figure out how to encourage him. Also, he smokes, you know.
It's true. Which, as a doctor, you
Probably
may
should.
have an opinion about. Yeah, that's fair.
Sí, tengo una. Hace pocas horas me conocí con Chris abriendo el tent, carpa. Nos saludamos muy bien, muy amigable, y pues conversamos poco, pero tiene una buena actitud y personalidad y me gustó mucho. Me gustaría seguirlo conociendo a futuro. Hope to be a good friend with him in the future. Y le deseo lo mejor hoy, que disfrute este día con su familia, con las personas que lo quieren.
So what I really enjoyed about chatting with Chris is that he's a very honest person. So he doesn't mind discussing and like disagreeing, but he's honest in a way that's like caretaking for other people as well. Like that's where I see where he has like a lot of confidence in obviously would be good at journalism for that piece, right? And Chris doesn't care who he's talking to. Like it doesn't see age, and he doesn't see like what you look like or whatever. Like he respects the people that he's having a conversation with. So I felt like that I was having like cool conversations with like the cool cousin, and he was sharing a whole lot and really honest, and I just felt like it was a lens into. I feel it's just kind of cool when you can talk to someone and I was able to share, and then he shared a lot with me. I just felt that was very special. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He didn't have to. You know what I mean? I can still be the small angry cousin.
Totally. Is that long train?
So,
Fix it in
speaking of
post.
the train.
The specific memory for me. What? Yeah, when is it in frame?
Sorry.
No worries. Yeah, it would have to be like when we lived together in 2020 into 2021, because I think we got super close and we really we're like, no, we're a team, like we're gonna figure this out. Our relationship is stronger for it. Our relationship with our mom is stronger for it. And yeah, that like we just made it. Like personally, I feel like, you know, with therapy and like through my friends and stuff, like working through all of that, like I just feel so much more at peace now that we're on the other side of all of that work. And I think, yeah, that's something I want for him too, to just have that sense of peace and like being able to leave things in the past, and like we talked about like forgiveness at some point, whether it's forgiveness for ourselves or just forgiveness like for other people. Like I think both are really important, because we can only work with the information we have, and like we can only work within the limits that we have, and sometimes shit happens and maybe it's not our fault, maybe it is our fault, but like you just gotta keep moving. Yeah, so that's probably one of my most cherished memories with him so far.
I remember him as a little kid just being such a sociable, friendly kid. Like even before he could talk, when we lived in this seminary building, there were these ladies who would work in the building, like they would vacuum and everything. There were these Italian ladies that didn't speak very much English. They were kind of older ladies. And they just loved Chris, and they would just scoop him up and take him here and take him there. And he would just happily go with anybody. And I just think that kind of openness to people is something that I see in Chris. This has just always been incredibly agile and strong and athletic and never falls down. You know?
One memory I have is just like how cool I thought Chris was when my mom put together the bits and pieces kind of collections of all like stories and art and stuff from people, and like I mean I guess the different aunts and uncles wrote more sophisticated things, but a lot of the stuff from the cousins was like really simple or kind of lame looking back at it. But like Chris had like a full blown like comic strip. I don't even remember what it was called, but there's some like superhero that had like a block of cheese on his head or something, and I just remember thinking, wow, he is so cool and like so much more accomplished than any of the rest of us. I mean, he was older, but still.
And you know, like through the years, he's just spilt out what he's passionate about, and he tried different things, and you know, what was the question again?
What advice do you have for following one's dreams?
Chrissy following his dreams, or just
Anyone,
one?
yeah.
As one. Okay.
Well, he was just telling me that he is working for a nonprofit. I don't know if it's a company or a little business. Anyway, that he's really happy with that. And I like the idea that he's so willing to contribute to things that go around where he could do good journalism.
I would say that you're aware of some gifts that you have, and just be grateful for them, and just enjoy sharing them with others by using them and developing them and enjoying them and working hard, and just they're gifts and they're yours to enjoy and to share.
Cool. I love that.
One of the best things is just to like, he's probably already doing this, but get to know people, because I think that's something I've always struggled with. But when I do manage to get to know like one or two key people, then it just opens everything up and you just start to like, it snowballs, right? So yeah, just like connecting with people. Some people, you'll never talk to them again, and other people will, who knows, like become a lifelong friend.
Yeah.
So that's the way I think. But that's what I would like to try to do.
Follow your heart. And if that's not clear, follow your stomach.
Love that.
Yeah.
Chrysanthemum, thank you so much for taking the time
Thank
to
you,
do this
David.
interview. Yeah. Take care.
Take care.
No, you take
No,
care.
you
No, get out of that seat.
Okay.
Quit while you're ahead.
Good one.
Realize that you're never gonna make it in this world.
Ice cold.
No. If it's something you know that you're good at, then like you're good at it, and don't let someone try to boss you around. Not even your managers. Like, just do whatever you want. If you're good at your job, then...
Okay, sweet. That was
like
it.
that I keep like giving
fake
actual answers, and then at the end I try to break off.
Try to
sit deeper.
Try to ruin it. Yeah. You like how when I start things really serious, and then by the end I'm joking and trying to avoid the situation.
Sit deep.
I think values carry you further. Like if you know what your values are and you act on them, as opposed to being like, this is the specific goal that I'm trying to accomplish, and if I don't, then I'll be really disappointed. So yeah, in terms of work, for me anyways, I've been thinking more generally about like, what are the values that I like to do with myself in my life, and am I doing that in my job? And if not, then maybe I should find a different job or whatever. rather than trying to like aim for a specific achievement or something.
Yeah. Yeah, like the difference between internal and external motivation.
Yeah, I guess so. I never thought of it that way. Yes, yeah, probably. Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Be a sponge. Just absorb as much as you possibly can.
There's no career that's ever going to be completely satisfying to any one person. So it's not the career that's going to define you. It's what you're going to do with it and where it's going to take you. So you may end up doing different things further down the road, and that's fine. That's part of being human. And so just look for, I think, what brings you joy and what challenges you in ways that make you feel like you're growing. Maybe that's what I would say. So try to avoid the situations where you feel like you're just dying in a pile, or exit them as quickly as possible. Maybe.
I think that Chris has done very, very well in completing this course to get the piece of paper that he needs. But he shows evidence by the work that he does that he has a very inquiring mind and he knows how to organize things. And I would encourage him just to continue along that same path. He's very creative. Started out at 2.5 years of age being creative, and he still is.
Well, I think one thing is important is not to be afraid to make mistakes, because I have certainly made errors over the years in my profession, and that's where you learn. And another thing, to not also be afraid to ask for help and get assistance from people, find a good mentor, and just have someone that you can really share those kind of experiences with.
I say just stick it out and keep gaining experience, even if you're second guessing if that's where you need to be, because I feel like it, will lead to something sometime where you feel like, yeah, this is where I want to be. But maybe not for a while. I don't know. Stick it out. I have no advice. It's a roller coaster. And I really hope for the best, because I think journalism sounds like a really cool thing to get into. So I'm excited for Chris.
That's cool.
It's a roller coaster.
That's like,
I don't have a lot of wisdom.
No. That's okay. Because that's a very similar answer to what your mom said.
Exactly.
Help us all imagine together. In a sense. How I think, and he can make that. He can be a perfectionist around that, and then he needs to come back to the cabin and carry some rocks. I think it'd be good.
And that's
for him.
it. And then he's a well-rounded individual.
Yeah.
And if the writing is an outlet for perfectionism, then he can do a shoddy job like he wanted to.
Creo que mi mejor consejo para Chris sería que tenga siempre una actitud positiva y sonreír. No matter what happens behind you, just smile, right? Con su nuevo logro, seguramente si tiene una buena actitud y una mente positiva, va a abrir muchas puertas a futuro. Pero espero que se le cumplan todos sus objetivos y espero verlo nuevamente.
What's that word? The last word?
Espero verlo nuevamente. I hope see you again. See you soon.
Okay.
So my piece of advice is to trample over, do anything you can to get where you need to be in life. Don't worry about kicking people down, taking everyone down with you, as long as you can climb the ladder.
Oh, I love this train so much.
So my piece of advice is...
Yeah.
So...
One more time?
I think something that I keep on having to remind myself and keep on relearning is kind of when you're reaching out to people, when you're trying to make connections or look for opportunities, don't say someone's no for them. Don't assume someone's gonna say no. You're going in with more of a kind of expectation of yeah, even if things don't work out, maybe you've made a positive connection in some way. I think that could be really helpful.
Failing at something versus feeling like a failure, because we can make mistakes and we can keep growing, but fundamentally know that we're going to be okay. People are not hating us for it. It's just, this is all task related. This is not about us as a person.
I think, when you go into a new place and into a new situation, it's really hard to just take a deep breath and be okay with not knowing everything and not understanding everything and not feeling comfortable. It's easy to get defensive at the beginning, because you can take things the wrong way or just feel like everybody knows better than me. And it's not really true. So you just have to be patient with yourself and just say, okay, I'm doing the best I can and I'm going to get it and it's going to be fine. And people aren't staring at me. I may think they are, but they aren't,
Anyhow, conflict resolution and taking risks. Do your best.
Peace. Bye. This has been TMZ.
This has been TMZ.
So that's it for our programming. We'd like to thank our sponsors. Who are some of our sponsors? The train running through Blaine.
The train, the Pacific Ocean.
The crows that I think appeared in a lot of the interviews while people were talking.
Yes, and just all our general supporters around the area. We've really appreciated your support today in putting on this event. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. TMZ.
TMZ. TMZ. This is Press. We are over